Hello Internet, welcome back to Songs of Syx. In the last episode we began our new colony in the world. We had a little bit of trouble figuring things out on the world map, but we started the foundation of our colony with several fruit farms, a warehouse of course, a hunter, we have a lumber mill of sorts, and we have a janitor as well. And that's all we really did. We were very confused in the last episode about the fruit farms and their production methods, but we are doing okay. So in this episode, we are going to continue expanding our colony. So first up, what I want to do here, I want to bring on more colonists. I see we have some that want to immigrate, and one of them is flashing. Garthemi loves death and destruction while caring little for the finer things in life. High reproductive rate makes them perfect cannon fodder, but given the right training and equipment, they can become quite proficient. Sorry, and I guess we're starting out with a sore throat right off the bat. So, I think we want to hire this guy because one of my main focuses in this episode, I wanted to get some form of militant creatures up on our farm. So one, I think we've used up the majority of our workers. How do we see workers? And we can't see their jobs. 2.46 out of 7. Well, that's not right. What do you mean 2.7 of 5 population? Okay, I don't understand. We have 10 colonists. 3 are working on farms. 2 work in the warehouse. That's 5. 3 work as woodcutters. That's 8. 1 is a janitor and 1 is a hunter. So literally everyone in our colony has a job at the moment. I want more farms and I want some military because remember when we set things up at the beginning of the game, we had raids listed as few, so there can be raids in the game. I'm not sure why this is flashing either. Right click to toggle flashing. Constructed rooms. Oh, it's just a pop-up to let me know I constructed rooms. Okay, let's bring on this militant guy. So we'll bring you in. You're 50% happy. Hopefully that person will eat our meat because our other characters are vegetarians. And let's look at military. Military. Training ground. Subjects are trained into soldiers. Produces noise. Requires metal. We don't have metal. How do I get metal? Refinery. Metal smelter. Turns coal and ore into metal. Yeah, but I don't have ore. Ore mine. Extracts minerals from the ground. Its efficiency is determined by the density of minerals, along with produces noise. Auxiliary. We can go underground, right? Dig into mountain. We can't go underground. We can only go into a mountain. So how do I know if there's ore under the ground? Well, okay, we have rocks right next to our base that I'm assuming are rocks and not ore. But maybe if we build the ore thing, extraction ore mine. Its efficiency is determined. It produces ore. Can I just build this here? Does that work? Is this gonna work? Must partially contain ore deposits. Yeah, but we haven't seen any of those. Where do I go for? How do I know if there's ore? What are you? I mean, the icons are too tiny to be able to see at a glance what these things are. What are you? Grain. I don't see ore anywhere. You ore? Your fruit. Vegetables, cotton. So again, we saw red on the map and we knew ore was there. Clay. You're not ore, you're clay. Uh-huh. Well, how do I get ore if it's like way down here, I believe is where we saw ore before? Do I have to send them all the way down there? Will they even walk down there? Or is this something you failed to tell me at the start of the game that is like crucially important and so now I'm just screwed? Because you didn't tell me anything about ore? So I'm gonna assume we just cannot do that at the moment. So let's just not worry about it. Maybe we can trade for ore? We saw trade before. Buy. Imports will start when warehouse stock is below 100%. I don't know how clicking does nothing. Click for info. You don't have enough credits to buy this resource. Trades are done in batches of 32. So we don't produce anything at the moment in enough numbers to justify trading. Let's get some people harvesting these wild veggies. so we can build some vegetable farms, and maybe once we get our output going, because it's summer now, we can harvest these. Actually, it's fall, so we want to do this before winter comes. Maybe once we get our food generation going, we can do this. Immigrant. An immigrant is someone that is emigrated to your city. They will remain immigrants for about a year, and then I assume they become civilians. Good God, that face. You're delivering as a delivery. You're a delivery man. Okay. Can I change your names, by the way? No. Or maybe, but I don't know how. Temperature. Determined by climate, season. Okay. I mean, they'll harvest that stuff. How's our farm going? They're still in the tilling process. So I'm guessing we harvest maybe once per year. And I just don't know how much our consumption is still. We talked about that at length in our last episode. So let's just stick with what we know. Let's hire someone else. Sturdy and stubborn, don't care for farming, but excel at mining and refinement. Sturdy in battle. Yeah, I wish I knew how. I thought we would be able to dig down a Z level. Remove water, dig canal, dig into mountain. Digs a tunnel into a mountain. Refill mountain cave. Beautify cave, dismantle structure. So it does not look like we can go underground, which is a bummer. I thought this was a multi-Z level thing. Alright, let's... Okay, well, we can't do that. So let's focus on our immediate needs. Okay, more people. Mythical giants. Remain primarily in the north. Human spawn. Right, let's get these 4 guys. That way we can pick up quite a few immigrants. And we'll clear this thing here so we don't... Oh, we can't clear it? Okay, they're just going to remain as immigrants. And then let's build a veggie farm once we have enough vegetables, which we should at this point. Let's build a veggie farm. Let's just focus on what we're doing. Let's just focus on the early game of making sure we have food and everything that we need. We'll make this one bigger here, I suppose. Yearly output 39. Why is that lower, though, than these were? Because we were getting 50 or 60. Maybe they just get better at farming over time. And we'll just mark that, and we'll get another farm up and running. Maybe instead of making small farms, we should expand them into, like, large farms. Does that increase things? Or is it better to have multiple small farms? I just don't know. I also don't understand why irrigation doesn't do anything, because these are right next to water. This one has irrigation. Oh, I see, because there's a tiny water tile here. So it looks like 2 tiles away might be too far. So this one will have irrigation as well. And now we have vegetables coming in instead of just fruit. So let's mark an area for vegetables. Trading happens in units of 32, I believe it said. We could trade some wood for credit. We could do that. We have wood coming in on the regular. How do I do this? Wood. Trade. Exports will start when warehouse stock is above 0%. What? Okay. So let's say when stock is above 40%, we'll trade some. You don't have capacity to sell a batch of this resource. Build a trade depot. Ah, of course. Of course. Is there a trade section? Service. No. Infrastructure. Import or export depot. So clearly it's not a trade depot. It's import and export. So I need to have 2 of these. So let's go now with exports for now. And we'll just build... I don't know how big you need to be. Again, I don't really know. Seems like something we want to protect at the center of the colony, though. Do you produce noise? I didn't notice if it does. I assume it does. So we'll build it out here a bit. And we'll build some crates. Oh, these are enormous. Enormous crates. So let's expand this so we can make 2 crates. I don't know how many we'll need. Let's just build another crate here. That works. And put some doors on this bad boy. No doors. Oh, it's just an outdoor area? Sure. Sure. I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. Let's speed up time here. And why don't we... we're only on day 1. Why don't we harvest more wild veggies? Because why wouldn't we? I wonder if they come back year after year. I gotta assume that they do. So we'll just mark a bunch of wild veggies for harvest. And assume that that's a renewable resource. I mean, I assume it is. Vegetables in real life tend to be, wildly growing all over the place when they start to grow. So hopefully that's a thing. And once we get exports, we should begin trading. Do I have to mark a thing, or do I have to mark a place for credits or whatever called them? Jewelry. I don't see anything that looks like a currency. Opiate. There's opiate in this game. Cotton, gems. Maybe gems are the currency? I don't think so. They sound like a resource. So maybe we don't need to track that. Treasury and overview of your money. So maybe that's not a tracked resource that we have to store. Maybe we just have, or maybe that's what goes in the throne room, is we just pile up currency at our throne room. And yeah, we should still have workers for everything we're building. Does this require more than one person to work it? No, do not reconstruct. We don't know yet. It's not fully built. Okay. Is that because I ran out of vegetables? No. We have plenty of vegetables. So why is no one constructing my farm? Build faster. Obviously, taking people to work on other jobs reduces the number of builders we have available. I was kind of hoping people might work on the buildings even in their downtime, but it does not look like that's necessarily the case. Although we do have a fair few people building. Yeah, the farmers were building. So obviously they do build when they're not doing something else. So here we have a farm. It does only take one employee, so even though it's larger, it doesn't matter. And presumably it will produce a lot more food, just by virtue of being a larger farm. We've got snow coming, so those things are no longer harvestable, I assume. How are we doing on wood? 382. So this thing is chugging along, producing wood every day. Happy to see that. Man, that very aggressive snow overlay is a little bit much, I think. Constructed 2 new buildings. Okay. So let's have a look here. Export depot. How do I... Let's go to wood. That's livestock. I don't have that. Oh, that's the price. Oh, I see. Okay. So let's just say stored, outbound, warehouse. Exports went over 40%. We do have buyers. I don't know how this works, but we're going to just roll with it and assume that it does. So once we reach 40% capacity in our store, they will produce the wood and take it over here instead, which it's already doing. So I'm assuming it's 0 outbound. Items that have been sold and are going to be picked up. How do I export? Wiki help. Okay. Store goods according to the amount of crates that are designated can be manned by delivery men who can carry much more goods than any other worker. Orders can be issued to fetch or to store goods. Fetch will have your delivery men transfer goods from other stockpiles that are not fetching or storing the same good. Storing goods prevents withdrawal, though they can still disappear if taken by thieves or starving subjects. That's really interesting that you have those mechanics. Let's also look at farms, because that was a source of a lot of confusion last episode, and I really should have looked it up. I forgot this was a thing. Food production. Food is essential. Blah, blah, blah. People start starving. They'll look for food. Make sure you distribute it all over your settlement. Different species have different hunger rates. Most eat 1 item of food every other day. Well, that's really, really good to know. I should have looked at this in the last episode. Sorry, I got a little frustrated in the last episode because I did not understand what I was looking at. There are different ways of making food. Phenomenal as long as there's wild game around. We do have wild game, but again, I don't think the majority of our people eat meat. So this is not great for us long term. Fisheries, which I did not know were a thing, steadily output fish. Very suitable if we have water nearby. Look out for indicators when placing them. You'll want a place to store the fish. Farms, different rates of production. Not all farms produce edible resources. Some farms must be placed indoors. That's very peculiar. What's universal for most farms is that they should be placed at high fertility. Fertility is represented through the grass on the ground. The thicker, denser, and greener the grass, the more fertility there is. Farms can also be boosted by irrigation by digging canals adjacent to the farm or placing them by water. Farms take up a lot of space, and they also only yield once per year. Oh my god, I could have had all my questions answered if I had just asked this little thing here. Soil, water, sunlight, turn. Okay. They clear weeds in springtime. They tend to the crops in summer, harvest in the winter, and then harvest in autumn, winter they till. I wish I had read this. I'm so sorry, Internet, that I did not read this in the last episode. We have mushrooms, which I would love to farm. I love mushrooms. Farming requires a minimum of 64, so 8 by 8, maximum of 45 by 45, which requires 31 workers. Will yield a certain amount of resources per worker each day. Oh, no, you said once a year. Will yield a certain amount of resources per worker each day. This can be found in the info panel. So basically, okay, so each day, I'm assuming the food is added to kind of the overall counter. So each day that it's worked by a person, the yield goes up by 1 per worker per day based on, it yields a certain extra amount added to that cumulative total per worker per day based on, I'm assuming, their skill level and the qualities of the farm. Irrigation. So we should build some canals to that other farm to let it have irrigation. Experience of workers may increase yield, gained by having them work as farmers. Tools increase the yield. Workers from farms bring their farmed product to nearby storehouses. Having it nearby is good. Too far away, it will be left on the field where they will rot. Okay, I wish I had read that. So now we know a lot more about farms. That's really good information. I forgot the thing existed. Anyway, that's enough being embarrassed. Well, what else do we want to learn? Well, we didn't really understand the export depot. I still don't really understand. Am I taking this somewhere? Is someone going to come pick this up? Exports went over 40%. We're over 40%. You're not exporting. Outbound is 0. Does just nobody want wood? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. I think our food situation is good now. And I think we should look at expanding our workforce even further. And why don't we pick up... I don't love the death and destruction guy. Let's pick up a human. And then let's look at building housing, because we have nowhere for these guys to sleep at the moment. So what would housing be under? You would think housing would have its own heading, but it doesn't. Infrastructure? Hauler? Monument? Torch? Hearth? A hearth, maybe? Helps to keeping... No, so it's literally just a heater. Okay. Service? Dormitory. Flat house chamber. So these are locked. We need technology, but we don't know how to get technology. Dormitory. A simple way of providing a place to sleep. Okay, but it requires furniture. So I guess I have to make a furniture maker. Workshop, probably. Carpenter. Has the furniture icon. Carves furniture out of wood, but produces a lot of noise. Okay, so... noisy things we would want on the exterior. I assume the lumber mill is also very noisy. I don't think I can build it on wood, so we would have to carve out some space. If we put our dormitories over here, we don't want the noise near where they sleep. Why don't we... how are we doing on... okay, clear this. How are we doing on stone? Not great. So let's just clear all right here. Clear all. This will free up space for us to construct, and it will remove the stone as well and put that in our storehouse and give us a huge influx of wood. So let's just send them about their business to work on that. Oh, yeah, so far, Internet, I'm mildly frustrated by the tooltips, or rather the lack of tooltips, but overall, I'm enjoying the game. I think it's a cute little thing. I know that may not be evident by my level of frustration in the last episode, but I do like things like this, and I like the minimal graphics. I know that that's something that may turn some people off. I am someone who enjoys graphics, but I can deal with very retro graphics. Like these are not exactly the most impressive thing to look at. But again, my main game on this channel that we play is Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. That is a game that has horrendous graphics by a lot of people's standards. I personally like the graphics in Cataclysm. I like the 2D sprite look in a lot of games, and of course I grew up playing roguelikes, so that's not a huge issue for me, but a lot of people have issue with that. So I think that this game would turn a fair number of people off just based on the appearance of it. You know, obviously Rimworld has that more cartoony look, and Dwarf Fortress is very minimal graphics, but a lot of people have a hard time getting past that. So yeah, I think that I think a lot of people would like this if they gave it a shot. I just think that the tooltips need a little work, and I really, really think your tutorial needs to be expanded to include things like technology, military training, and really the ore, the optimal placement for a starting village, because our nearest ore appears to be way down here. So I feel like I wish I had known that when we started playing. I could be in a much better position had I known that stuff. And there is a screen at the beginning when you start up the game that says, hey, this tutorial is a huge work in progress. You know, we don't have that, but this game has also been out for like 8 months, and I feel like the number one thing you should be focused on when you first launch a game should be on teaching people how to play that game. So I do have opinions on this, but so far, enjoying the experience, I guess. Our stone is full. We did harvest a lot of stone. Let's expand that and use up our final crate there. And then we are moving towards summer, so they're not going to be harvesting yet. So I think now is a good time to further expand our warehouse. So we will edit this. We will add additional crates so that we have more places to store items. Did I put a door here? I really wish there was a little bit more differentiation between door and wall, because I think I blocked off this door. I think there's a door there. There's a door here I can see. So let's just build a few more crates so that we don't really have to expand this again in the future. We'll put in as much as literally as much as we can. Use up some of our wood. We have plenty of wood. And this, of course, why wouldn't you be able to access? Oh, I built them backwards. Oh, I see. Remove these. I built them backwards. We want the foot thing on the outside so that they can walk up to it. There we go. And that'll take them a while to construct, but we have plenty of wood now. We have plenty of materials. We did just harvest a bunch of stone, and we need a place to put our stone. Now, unfortunately, we can't store things in the warehouse again until they fully complete this construction. Remember, they lose all workers and things when we edit the room, which is a real pain in the butt. Okay, looks like it's functional again, so let's increase that back to 2 employees harvesting things. And again, it erased my crate deployment, so that's frustrating. Oh, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. Okay, well, that's great then. Let's expand wood and stone, and I think we'll go fruit one more tick. We lost a lot of fruit there, which I assume is them just eating over the course of basically since the last harvest. But yeah, I think we are good. Let's add, I believe I saw a thing for canals, so let's build a canal here as well. So this gets a little irrigation. I don't know if I need more than one. So we'll just do that and assume that that is more than one. And I assume digging a canal is just sort of grunt work where they just dig puddles, basically. Oh, I see. It fully extends the water tile. That's really interesting. Irrigation is now 75%, 75%, 25%. So when this gets constructed, 50, 70, 100% irrigation. Fantastic. That's fantastic. So that should bolster our yields as well. So let's dig another little bit of canal here. In fact, we can just dig that whole thing out and have it be right on the water. When I initially placed them, I thought the fertile land would be near the water, but that I didn't want to build right up against the water. I thought that would be problematic. Turns out that is not the case. So now 100% irrigation can boost production by 10%. So that's pretty significant, honestly, for basically no work whatsoever. Although I don't love this is not connected. So we're going to sort that out as soon as it gets a light and I can see what I'm doing. Let's just dig this out so it looks a little bit more natural. I don't know that it really matters, but I'm an aesthetic guy. It's going to bother me if I don't do it. So we'll set that up. Hopefully it looks a little bit better there. We're still going to have this little... Oh, God, it's so ugly. Okay, it's fine. Same with this. This is hideous. Give me... Probably no one cares about this, but this will bother me. Give me more canals. And we are in the summertime, so we can now harvest wild vegetables again. So let's do that. And they seem to be growing right in the middle of our town, so we might as well harvest those since they're very easy access. Unfortunately, we cannot find ore in the same way that we've found these other things. I just wish I had known that during construction. I wish I had known Man, there's got to be ore somewhere else. And this is just impossible. These are so tiny. It's impossible to see what they are. What is this? Oh, those are creatures. Ore deposits. Yeah, and they're colored in red. I gotta assume that the red means ore. What's over here? Stone. It's just stone? And animals. No. What are you? Stone deposits. Stone deposits. Shrooms. Bushes. So, dude, does the stone have ore in it? Like, if I build here where there's stone, is it gonna give me ore? I don't think it will. So I don't know how we're gonna get metal. We're gonna have to trade for it, I think. Which, again, we don't have much to trade. It looks like our fruit harvest has come in because we have hundreds of fruit. I assume they just harvested. Yeah, they're now in the tilling. Okay. Which is weird because it said that they harvest in autumn and they till in winter, and it's only summer, but they're tilling. But okay, okay. Plus 30, plus 54. So they seem to be doing all right. I don't think I can manually assign workers, so I can't, like, pick and choose people who are good at farming, but I assume they get better anyway. Oh, you're constipated? Constipation can be remedied by visiting the lavatory. This subject will try to, you spell defecate just horrendously, when it's below 50%. So I think that means he pooped recently and that he's at 100%, so he's good. Because when it's below 50, then they use the bathroom. Do I have to build a bathroom? That would be service? A well? Don't poop in the well. Lavatory. Okay, so we need to build a well. We have water nearby, but I would like to build a well anyway. A dormitory and a lavatory, which again required carpentry. Now that we've cleared this area, let's build ourselves a carpenter. Produces noise, of course. And let's make this, I'm assuming we're going to need furniture for a lot of things. And maybe we can export furniture. So let's build a nice big building. And I'm assuming we want a wall around it. Give me just one big door. And then how big are the benches? Pretty big. So this building is entirely too large. We'll put 2 workbenches in there. And what's this? Auxiliary. Just requires wood and stone. Sure. Which will boost the efficiency in this room. So we'll put a few of those around. Must not cut off part of the room. Oh, I see, because then you couldn't walk up there to use that. Okay, so we'll just put 2 there, and then we'll shrink this because we don't need this to be so big. Just call it like that, and we'll build a door. I don't know, should I be making double or triple wide doors? Does it matter? And this can have up to 6 workers? Oh, that's way more than I want to allocate. But okay, we can just limit it to like 2 people. And that way we'll get some furniture coming in. I was going to build paths, but I think we want to hold off on that until they construct this. That way they're not torn between 2 construction options. And again, I feel like I should maybe expand my food a bit. I don't think I actually need to, but I would feel more comfortable if I knew we were like getting a huge surplus of food. It's coming together, internet. I did not think about the layout of my town before I started constructing, which is always a real trap for new players. You know, if you watch a pro Rimworld player or a guy who plays a lot of Dwarf Fortress, they plan things out to a T before they begin construction for just for a really optimized layout and just so things look really nice. I am not that guy. That is not me. I'm very much a slapdash kind of guy who just tosses things down as necessary. We should have all the materials required. We should have even a surplus of stone. We actually don't. We have 340. I mean, we need more wood. I could build another woodcutter, I suppose. And we would build it further from town so that it's not going to be noisy where they're going to sleep. But we could also clear space for where we're going to build the dormitory. So let's clear out this area here. I think a nice big swath of land for us to build upon. And same with like food. We need to build like a cafeteria or something, a canteen, an eatery. Uses pots and raw foods, but it requires pots. Of course it does. And we did see clay, but clay is pretty far from from where we are. We'd have to walk quite a distance to get to the clay. Okay. Yeah, it's not great. I sort of dislike when games do this, and it makes sense to do that in a strategy game like this, in a builder like this. But generally, you can find clay. I mean, I don't know, maybe you can't, but literally, like, everywhere has clay. So it always bothers me when there's, like, only clay in a certain area where you have to go to that area to find it. This doesn't really check out for me, given how common clay actually is in the world. Same with ore. Ore is, obviously more restricted, but like stone and stuff, stone should be literally everywhere, and it just doesn't seem to be. There's a patch over here, patch over here. I did see, didn't it say something about boulders as well? I thought it did. Maybe there aren't boulders. Maybe it is just these little rocks. Anyway, we have people producing furniture now. That's pretty cool. We're going to need a crate for that. Let's find chairs here, furniture. Can't imagine we're going to need to max out our furniture, though. Okay, so we have 8 pieces of furniture. Let's look into building a dormitory. That was under service, dormitory. So unfortunately, I guess they don't get their own houses, or maybe they do later and we just don't have it. And we're going to need quite a lot of space for this, I think. And we'll put a door. Actually, let's build the beds first so we can see how big they are. Okay, not terrible. It's not terrible. And we'll just build like a huge row of beds. We're not going to have enough furniture for a couple of days probably. But I think for now this will do. And you know what? I'm going to leave it huge. And I wonder, are they penalized mood-wise if I make the room too big, if there's too many of them in a dormitory? Maybe we should make multiple dorms. We're going to make multiple dorms, I think. Even if it doesn't matter for gameplay purposes, it will matter for my like RP of this. Let's build a nice little dormitory down here, and we'll just put, I don't know, like 6 or 7 beds in here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8 is fine. And we will restrict this room slightly and shrink this down. Knickknacks, what are you? Adds coziness. Well, what do you cost to make? What does it cost to make this? 1 furniture. Okay, we'll put some knickknacks. Sure, it makes it more cozy, better for them, sure. And we will add a door, of course. Why don't we add a door on the side towards the actual like center of town? Do we want another door? Probably not. We'll add some more knickknacks. We're going to be using up all of our furniture anyway, so screw it. It doesn't really matter. And they seem to be happy enough just sleeping on the ground, so I can't imagine it's going to be a huge, huge deal. It is going to take us a while to accumulate that amount of furniture. How much are we getting per day? Looks like 9 furniture per day. This is going to require like 30 furniture, 16 furniture to build. Not terrible, so we should have that by tomorrow. What are we doing here? Oh, we have money. We have money now. Fantastic. I don't know when we sold wood, but apparently we sold some wood. Because now we have 1,200 currency. That's great. That means we can import some ore and we can start building ourselves a military. Unfortunately, that will have to wait for the next episode because we're going to call things here. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed so far. Oh, geez. Never mind. A slaver has arrived offering his goods. Would you like to make a purchase? He will stay for 4 days. No, I don't want to buy people. Because that's horrible. So no, I don't know why it defaulted to 1 purchase. That seems terrible. I will not be buying slaves. Thank you, though. Thank you for your miserable service, you monster. So we're not going to be doing that. See no reason to do that while we can get immigration. Oh, you know what? I wonder if we can sell, like, buy them and then free them from slavery. I wonder if we can do that, or if they're always counted as slaves. We might buy and set some slaves free if we're able to. But anyway, that is it for this episode. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click that like button. Remember that Songs of Syx is available on both Steam and itch.io, and I would highly encourage you to check it out if it seems like something that would interest you. For now, that's a wrap on our episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back with more in the near future. I'll see you next time.